Hey everyone, this is Dr. Vic here, and you're listening to the Mindful Chiropractor podcast. So excited that you're here. Today's subject is something that is very dear to my heart. It is in the mindset world. This is something I've been studying for the last 10 to 15 years, and it's something that I have done every single time I walk in my office. And what is it I do is, and the question to ask you, Docs, before I even share this, is this something, do you have a method of your patterns and habits and situations when you walk into your office? Is there anything that you do? Is there a ritual that you do? And you see, for me, every time I walk in the office, I'm actually walking and spreading my energy. I'm visualizing my office and seeing how the flow is going to go for the day. And I'm also setting the intention of what I want to see happen for that day while I walk through it. It only takes me less than a minute and a half, maybe. And I'll fly through it really quick. Sometimes I'm getting in and I'm helping out staff. Maybe they're getting the morning started up, and it gives me a moment to walk around. So I'll open up lights and get things going. But in my mind, I'm setting intentions. I'm setting prayers of gratitude and appreciation and raising my vibe as best as I possibly can. The reason why that's very critical. Now, let's face it. It doesn't matter what technique you use. Let me be blunt honest with this. I share students with this all the time. It doesn't matter the technique you use. It's all about the intention of where you're coming from. I know docs back in the day, they make an adjustment on the wrong side, and yet the patient still got better. Explain that one. Okay. Intention is what overrides all things. When you look at the intent, when you look at the nervous system itself, it's very sensitive to energy. Energy flows through the nervous system. If you think of your nerves, they're like the little divots of a river where water can run through. That water that runs through that makes a river is actually energy. It's what gives us life, innate intelligence, soul, whatever you want to call it. And so when you look at these elements, what is your vibe at? Because your vibe is going to influence that. Okay. Your vibration of where you are, mindset first, because this sets the vibe of everything else. When you connect it to the heart, now you magnify that beyond belief. And that's where the power of what you do works. This is the key to be an exceptional chiropractor making massive differences. And then it doesn't, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. You got to be clinical and know how to adjust and all these things. But what I'm trying to say is that when you go ahead and make that adjustment with that intention, you set the vibe, okay? That's level one. But then there's another level. What do you do with your staff? If you're a doc who runs his office, your own office, what do you do as a staff? How do you get their vibe up and going? How do you get them centered? Right? Ready for the day. What do we focus on? What's the main focus? You get everyone in a cohesive energy that comes together. Now you raise the vibe even more. And what happens when you continue to raise the vibe, the focus on the patients to help create more of a healing space? Well, one, you're going to get results. Two, you're going to get people who are going to be calling out of nowhere wanting to be in that office. And you're going to find you. They might find you. Let's say your SEO rankings on Google is horrible. Maybe you're on the third, fourth page. They'll find you. It's the craziest thing how this works. But this is some of the things, because when your vibration's higher, then all of a sudden you attract more. Your magnetic force becomes stronger. But everyone has to be on the team. You as a doc have to lead the way. You have to lead the way. You're the main person who's running. And now if you have multiple docs, well, you got to get all the docs on the same boat. Because when you don't have docs and staff that are on the same energy levels and the same wavelengths, it creates incongruencies and it messes with the vibe. So now it's averaging out to a certain medium point that's comfortable for all, instead of raising it as high as you possibly can. And so this is very critical, very critical. And you may say, oh, this is easy stuff. It's not as easy as you think. Because let me tell you something, if you're doing it right, you're going to see the results in your office. You'll see referrals coming out of nowhere. You'll have conversations with people and things are just going to be going nice and smooth. And you'll be like, how is this happening? Things work out better when you're vibing together, especially yourself. You'll notice people are getting way better a lot faster. You ever notice that? Do you ever notice, Doc, that when you're in the office, and this happened to me too, I always have to keep where my mindset is. Patients are not getting as better as, and I don't like to say the word better as a sense of pain, because that's not how I run my office. But it's one of the things where they're getting better in some way, shape, or form a lot faster, right? Like I had a patient who we were adjusting, horrible knees, so bad they needed, eventually, I took x-rays, I looked at him and I go, oh my God, he's probably going to need a knee replacement sometime in the near future. Totally shared that with the patient, told him, here's what my expectations are. If we get to this point, we'll be better. The guy can't even walk that well. All of a sudden, one adjustment, he's walking perfectly fine, going up the flight of stairs, and the wife's like, who are you? Right? And I'm like, man, that was pretty cool. How the heck that happened? Now, Doc, do not fall in the face of saying, well, look what I did, man. I did that. You did nothing. You're part 0.1% of all that. And I think that's what we need to do in our profession is realize who's truly the healer, who's truly the doctor. It's not us. We're just facilitators. You have no control of the a million plus chemical reactions that happen every given second. You have no control over the 200, 300, 400 miles per hour signals that are going from the body to the brain back and down. We have no control over that, but we can influence it, right? Remove the subluxation, improve communication a little bit. And so, but it's also, where's your vibe? And so your vibe is the most critical thing that's going to be the game changer. If you think I'm crazy, look at patients that don't do well. And I'm not saying it's all you, right? Because now I'm saying, hey, your vibe will help them. But the key thing is sometimes you'll have patients that just don't get better. They struggle. I have them. I have some patients that do absolutely amazing, like I was just sharing one story. And I have some that struggle a little bit. It's like they don't really make a change until a certain point. But it's one of those things where when we look at everything, it's you start the vibe, right? It's just like when you have a skeptic in your office. If you let them dictate their energy with you, they're never going to get better and they'll prove themselves to be right. But if you dictate the energy and set the tone every single time, set the vibe every single time, high vibration, low vibration is going to rise up to the high vibration. As long as the high vibration stays there, it will happen. This is synchronicity. This happens. Just look at the study where they took two tuning forks. One was on one end of the room, the other one's on the other. They striked only one and they left it vibrating. What do you think happened eventually over time to the other one? It synced to the vibe because it raised it up. They've done studies this with things knocking off, like sound snappers, off sync. And as they just kept going over time, it took like a minute and a half, they would all sync together. This is crazy stuff, but it works. It's true. And so it's just the same way as like you can look at the water experiment and how water changes its molecular structure when you flash freeze it with the word love or hate and different vibrations, different senses of music, religions, and all those things. So you can't tell me that this vibe stuff doesn't work. It does. It's how the universe communicates. And so you set the tone. And then when you have someone who's a skeptic, I love skeptics in my office. The what turns around from them has always been amazing. And I would say always, I mean, you get some that just don't work out, but most of them work out really well. They become some of my best patients. I just had one that recently started about 2.5 months ago, and she's already referred 5 people in, and she's looking at referring number 6. She brought them in last week that I get to meet them. The reason why is because I hold a center space to allow them to see something different. And as long as I can stay there, their vibe's going to rise. And then all of a sudden they'll see that too. They may not be able to explain it, do this, but they'll get the experiences of it. You know, and this is something I learned when I was practicing energy medicine. You know, the different 10, 11, 12 different techniques, being a Reiki master and trainer, I thought healing came from me. Okay. I had that ego, spiritual ego. I thought, I put my hands on someone, I can put the energy and I'll stimulate it. I'll do all these different things. One day I learned a lesson. One day I had such an ego because I had someone who I wanted to do energy work on, and I was just going to put all my energy in and I was going to give them a knockout experience. They were going to go out into some higher dimensions. And it didn't happen. And I was like, what the heck happened? I didn't get that result. I was so frustrated. And then I was talking and I did some meditations and did some work, read a couple books, and I started to understand that it's all about the space you create. And what I learned about healing from energy is that as long as you hold the space, healing can happen. And it's when the person's ready, the healing will happen. And so for my world, I just now create a space of healing, right? There's people there's a lady called Amma who gives you hugs and transforms people. People had addictions, don't have them anymore. But these things happen. Just because you don't hear it commonly, these things happen. Why? She puts such a wonderful space of love that she creates that people, when they come in there, it happens. Jesus did this. Buddha did this. There's so many other people that did this. And these are the things that you want to do. You don't have to. People will get results still in some way, shape, or form. But if you want to maximize your results to the fullest, and I'm talking maximize deep results, I mean, you're shifting their life. Check your vibe, because that's what's going to matter most. Get into a ritual. Pick out, if you're religious and you like the Bible, pull out quotes that you like and say them every day when you're walking through the office. If you're in different religions, there's different quotes and scriptures that you can use. If there's a quote or saying that you like from someone, pull it, use it every single day. Right? There's things that you can do. And I remember when I first opened my office, there was actually writings of things we put underneath the carpet so that each room had a quote under there. and what it was our goal was and what we want to do. Some people think this is crazy, but it works wonders because you're setting the vibe. And so this is what you want to do in order to maximize your experience of healing, helping create transformation. I can tell you this, and I'll leave you guys with this. In my office, my vision of my office was always when you walk in, you can feel the healing. Sounds crazy, right? I said, you'll feel the healing. You'll feel the love. You'll feel the authenticity. I said all these words. I said there will be certain music that we're going to play. There's going to be certain scents that we're going to give that have an energy to uplift the being of the human who walks into our office. I will tell you, almost on every other week to every other week, someone will say, man, it just feels right being here. Or, man, I just love the energy of this office. It's not just the scents and stuff. It's just, there's an energy to this place. Heck, people work for me, say this is my happy place. And it's the key factor of programming these things, right? This takes a lot of stress off. You want to double your profits. You want to, do things that are going to maximize in many different ways. This is my bread and butter. This is where I put my energy into. I focus on me and my vibe. And I focus on other systems outside my life to keep my vibe in that place. And I focus on visions and so forth to do all that type of stuff. So if you're looking to, if this sounds great and you're like, man, this is awesome stuff, and you want to raise up in your practice and in your life, and you want to, be able to set your vibe to the highest it can be in alignment in all areas, DM me, direct message me on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, whatever one you use, and just put the word vibe in there. Okay. Just put vibe. Or you want to email me, drvic@empoweryourreality.com, and just put vibe. I'll know exactly what you mean, and we can carry on that discussion from there. But these are the things that you can do. And this is stuff that I teach my clients, coaching clients with chiropractors, entrepreneurs, is how to level up. So when I talk about how I can help chiropractors double their profits in 12 months, you're learning some of the tips right now. It's a different way of doing things. Do you need business principles in order to do that too? Of course. You can't just pray. I read a quote earlier and it said, David versus Goliath, right? David, he prayed all the time, but eventually he had to pick up the stone and take out Goliath, right? What that means is that you have to have the being down first. And once you do, then you take action. And the action becomes seamless. It becomes easier to take. It's easier to achieve because you did the hard work on the being side. Everything in life is vibration. Everything is frequencies and energy. Once we start to shift our minds and understand that, our whole life transforms. And this is how I've been able to help entrepreneurs and chiropractors in the past. And this is what I do to help elevate the person on all levels. So like I said, if this sounds awesome to you, DM me vibes. And you can email me at drvic@empoweryourreality.com. Everything's in the show notes, guys. You can take a look down there. But I appreciate you tuning in. If you were inspired and you want someone else that that can benefit from this, pay it forward and share it with them. Okay. If you like this episode, or you've been liking the episodes we've been sharing, please do me a huge favor, share a review, throw some stars up on there, and let us know how we're doing. And if you want other topics or things you're struggling with, you're like, man, I would love to know more. Don't hesitate to email me and share some topics you're looking at. Be more than happy to help share my knowledge of what I've gone through and experiences and everything that I've done to help level up in any way we possibly can. So appreciate you as always. Until next time, keep rocking and rolling.